Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Cedar Rapids Web Design's WordPress tutorials. The last video, the very first one, we just took a quick look at the WordPress dashboard, some of the core options on the left-hand side there, and we didn't really get into what any of them do really, but we just sort of took a quick look at the dashboard and familiarized ourselves a little bit with the back end of the website. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about pages and posts. We're going to talk about what the difference is between the two of them. And we're going to, again, use our example website that we had there. So let's go ahead and open that up. And we'll get logged in by putting /wp-admin to the end of our URL. And there we go. We are now logged into our WordPress dashboard. Hopefully this looks familiar to you from the last video. You see over here we do have two separate options. One is for posts and one is for pages. So what's the difference? Technically, there's no difference between a post and a page. They are the same thing. The difference is in how WordPress handles a post versus a page, what WordPress does with them. We're going to show you exactly what that difference is. So we take a look at our website. If you'll remember, this is a brand new install of WordPress. We haven't done anything to it. This is what any WordPress website will look like the second after it's been installed. So we haven't changed the theme. We haven't added any pages or anything. If you scroll down, you'll see there's one post. It's just the typical Hello World post that they always put there. And they don't even put in a menu right away because there's no pages to link to. So we're going to add a page, see what happens. We're going to add a post and see what happens. And we'll be able to take a look at the difference. So we'll go back into our dashboard. Let's start off by creating a page. All right, so we'll go over here to pages. Here's our sample page. So they did give us one sample page. We're going to just create a new one. We're going to call this tutorial page. All right. And let's go ahead and get some random content to stick in there. Like some good old-fashioned Latin. How about that? I don't know what just happened here. There we go. And we'll paste that in there. Sure, good enough. Let's go ahead and publish that. That's it. We just created a page. We gave the page a title, gave it some content, and let's see what happened. Let's go to our website. So if we scroll down here, we will notice that nothing happened, right? There's no change. Why is that? We just created a new page. How come we can't see it? Well, WordPress doesn't automatically put your page anywhere. If you want someone to find your page, you need to give them a way to see it. And there's two different ways you can do that. One is by using a menu, and the other is you can just stick a link to that page on any other page or post that already exists, right? So let's take a look at the menu first. To give you an example of a menu, we can look at our website. This right here is a menu. Okay, we even have menus within menus. So here's three different options underneath this menu item. Here's a menu item. These are all menu items. Okay, and if you click on one, it takes you to that page, right? So that's what we're going to do. That's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a menu, and we're going to add this new page that we just created to that menu. So we'll go to Appearance and Menus. You can see that we don't even have a menu, okay? A lot of times if you install a theme, sometimes there will be a default menu, but with this one there isn't. So we're just going to create one. Let's call it Primary, or let's call it Main. Main Menu. Create Menu. Okay. Now, before we do anything, I do want to just go ahead and check the website again. Now that we've created this menu, let's see what the website looks like. Okay, still no change, right? Here's why. We'll go back to the back end. We'll go back to menus. For this menu, we need to select right here, display location, top menu. Now that's not always going to say top menu. A lot of themes will change that to like primary menu or main menu, but it should be obvious where it's going to go. Some will even have multiple menus. Some will have a footer menu. So you can create one menu that will show up at the top of your page, and you can create another menu that will show up in the footer, and they can be different menus. They don't have to have the same menu items in them. So that's kind of a handy feature. So for this one, we're just going to choose top menu, and we're going to hit save menu. And this might be getting kind of annoying, but we're going to go and look at the page again. And again, we're going to see that there's no change. Why is that? Well, we go back to appearance and menus. It's because we haven't added anything to our menu yet. We created a menu called a main menu. We said we want it to show up at the top, but we haven't added any pages to this menu. So let's go on over here to the left. We have some options for creating links in our menu, okay? We can add pages that we've created, posts that we've created. We can just add a custom link. If we wanted, we could link to google.com. Click here for Google. We could do that if we wanted to. And then we can actually link to categories, which we're not going to get into a whole lot in this particular video, but at some point we will. Categories are a way of organizing your posts for your blog. So for this particular menu, we're just going to go up to pages, and let's go ahead and just add both of the pages. The sample page, which was just there already before we did anything, and then the tutorial page, which is the one that we created. We'll hit add to menu. And then, of course, we have to hit save menu. If you don't hit save menu, nothing's going to happen. Now let's see what happens. Boom, we have a menu now. Tutorial page and sample page. Okay, and this particular theme uses a sticky menu. What that means is when you scroll down, the menu sticks to the very top of the page, which is kind of neat. Not every theme does that. A lot of themes do, and this happens to be one of them. So now, of course, we can always go in to appearance and menus, and we can remove things, we can add things, we can move them around. Maybe we want sample page to be first, so we just click and drag it up. We can even nest tutorial page underneath sample page. You see that? If we do that and hit save, now you'll see we have sample page, and if you hover over it, you'll see tutorial page. So that is one way of making your page that you just created visible. You have to add it to your menu. Now, here's one thing that's important I want to point out. If we go, first I'm going to put our menu kind of back to normal. I'm going to bring this back over here so we have two separate items. I'm going to go into pages, and I'm going to hit add new, and I'm going to create tutorial page 2. I'm just creating another page. I'm going to hit publish, and I'm going to check our website. It's not there. Okay, WordPress does not automatically add the pages that you create to your menu. Okay, because not every time you create a new page for your website, it doesn't mean that you necessarily want it to be added to your menu. Maybe you just want the page to exist, and you want to maybe send certain people to that page for whatever reason, but you don't necessarily want it to be advertised in your menu or anything like that. That's perfectly acceptable, and WordPress knows that, so it doesn't automatically add a page that you create to your menu. You do need to actually go in to appearance menus and add that page if you want it to show up. Okay, now there is the option down here, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. If you check that and you hit save, then in the future, anytime you create a page, it will automatically add to the menu. But by default, it does not do that. So I wanted to point that out in case you ever create a page and then you wonder why it's not showing up in your menu. It's because you need to go in and actually add it to your menu. So how is all that different from a post? Well, let's take a look. Let's go ahead and create a new post. You'll notice that the process for creating a new post is exactly the same as creating a new page. It's just that we're clicking on posts instead of pages. The post editor looks exactly like the page editor. Again, a post and a page are technically the same exact thing. It's the only difference is in how WordPress manages a post versus how it manages a page. So let's go ahead and create tutorial post 1. This is our first post. And over here, you'll notice there's a couple of different options that you don't see when you're creating a page. The main one being a featured image. Let's go ahead and let's just find, here's a good opportunity to share a useful resource with you. Pexels.com is just a place to find some cool free photos. Here's a cool picture of a camera. You are allowed to download this and use it without having to pay for it. That's pretty neat. So we're going to do that. We're going to take that picture and we're going to make it our featured image. We can add tags if we like. I typically don't. Categories here, I mentioned that earlier. We can add category right in the post. We'll pretend this is a post about photography since we chose a camera as our featured image. Add new category. We can add multiple categories if we want. Now that I've created this photography category, it will always be here as an option when I create new posts. So that's about it. We'll go ahead and hit publish, and then we're going to check our website and see what happened. Scroll down a little bit. Boom. Now that right there, you've probably already noticed, is the difference between a post and a page. When we created a new post, it automatically showed up on our blog post page, which for this theme happens to be the main page. It's not always like that. If you look at my page, there's no blog on the front page. You actually have to click blog in the menu in order to see the blog post, right? But on this particular theme, the blog posts are showed right on the main page. And when we created that post, it automatically added it. You can see here's the first post, the default post that was just already there. It got bumped down. The newest post is put on top. And over here in this little recent post widget, it added the tutorial post number 1 that we created to the top, bumped the next one down. Under categories, we now see that there's the category photography that we can click on, and it'll show us all the posts that have that category. Obviously, right now there's just one, but if this was an ongoing photography blog, or not necessarily a photography blog, but an ongoing blog that had several photography posts, clicking on photography would show us all the posts in that category. It did all of that for us, right? We didn't have to do any of that. All we did was go to post, hit add new, created it, and hit publish, and it automatically did all this stuff for us. That is A, the difference between a post and a page, and B, that is the power and the advantage of using a content management system. If you were just building this with just straight up HTML, you would have to create the post page, which would be this, right? Big old picture at the top. Here's your content, not a whole lot of content, just one little sentence. You'd create that. And then you would have to go to your blog page or your main page, and you'd have to add this little preview with the smaller image and the snippet of text here. You'd have to create this link over here, bump the other one down. If there's a whole bunch here, you probably remove the one on the very bottom, right? Come down here to categories, add the new category. You'd have to do all this stuff manually, but the content management system, WordPress, does all that for you, okay? So that is the difference between a post and a page. When you create a page, WordPress doesn't make any assumptions. You have to decide if you want it to show up in your menu or if you want to link to it. But when you create a post, WordPress makes some assumptions. It assumes that you want it to be featured at the top of your list of posts. It assumes you want to add it to your recent post widget and a lot of other things like that. So it's very powerful, very handy. And I did want to show you one other thing. Going back to pages, another way to link to a page, and I'm going to use this post we just created as an example. I'm going to open up the post and I'm going to say, check out our tutorial page. I'm going to highlight it, click this little link button here. I'm going to click the settings link options and choose this page that we created. Not the post, but the page. And hit add link. Now I'm going to update. And we're going to go look at that post. So here's the post. Here's that link we created. Check out our tutorial page. Click on that and it takes us to that page we created. That's the other way that you can bring users to a page that you created. Apart from putting it up here in the menu, you can also just actually link to it on other pages or posts that you've created. So if you don't do one of those two things, the page will exist, but no one's going to know about it unless you show them where it's at. So that's about it for this video. Hopefully you have a pretty good understanding of what the difference is between a post and a page as far as WordPress is concerned. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to use the Contact Us button on our website. I'll show you that right here, this purple button there. Feel free to use that to ask us questions about your WordPress. If we built you a site and you're trying to update and you can't figure it out, that's what we're here for. You probably already have our contact information. If you lost it, go ahead and just use that Contact Us button and we'll be glad to help you out. And we'll see you in the next video.